All right, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm excited for those of you that are joining us live and for those of you that are watching the recording. So tonight's business Zoom, every single Wednesday we meet at 8 p.m. We have been doing that all year long. Laura and I changed our Zoom time earlier this year to 8 p.m. on a weeknight so we could accommodate those of you guys that worked during the day, because we used to do all this during the day. Remember, Laura, the first 6 months we did 11 and 3, girl. But we changed our business meeting till 8 p.m. at night. So here we are now, almost 11 months going strong with that. And we do different things every time, of course, different topics and things we talk about. But tonight, I wanted you to hear from not just me, because I talk a lot, but I wanted you to hear from our senior directors and above that are available to be on here tonight, so they can share with you some tips, a tip, a strategy, a tool, some success things that they have done. Obviously, getting to senior director, it's kind of what we consider our first level of leadership in this company. And so, everybody starts off the same. We all are brand partners. We gather our 4 customers and poof, we become a manager. And then, of course, we help 2 people do the same and poof, we're a director. And then to get to senior director, you've helped 2 people become directors. So you've actually helped 2 people, that have also went on and helped others as well, too. So that's why they kind of call that first level of leadership is senior director. So senior director has 2 directors they've personally enrolled. And then, of course, we have executive directors on the Zoom right now. An executive director does not have anything to do with structure. I mean, you got to have your structure. You got to have your 2 managers that you personally enrolled. You've got to have the 2 directors you personally enrolled, of course. They have to be paid as their ranks. But getting to executive is just about volume. And so it just means that in your line of sponsorship, the people that you have enrolled and they've enrolled and they've enrolled and they've enrolled, that you have at least 50,000 in a month. All right, which is obviously just a little like 12.5 a week in volume. So about 6,200 coming from each leg, if you want to look at it that way, or you can have all 12.5 from one leg. It doesn't really matter each week, as long as it's in your line of sponsorship. And so that's executive. And then we have presidentials on the Zoom as well, too. And we have soon to be presidentials on the Zoom as well. And so presidential means you have 100,000 in volume in that 4-week period. And it doesn't matter. It's not from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. It's just from, every single Monday we start over. That's the beginning of a new 4-week period. And so that obviously, 25 times 4 is going to get you. So it's just doubling that volume each week, right? So you kind of look at 12.5, 12.5, or all 25 from one leg, as long as it's in your line of sponsorship. And then we have on here as well, too, someone that is about 4 days away from being a senior presidential director. And so that will be happening as well, too. And so senior presidential director is 200,000 in volume over a 4-week period. So you see how it kind of goes from 50 to 100 to 200. That doesn't happen overnight. Okay. It happens over progression by staying consistent with the activity that you are doing, which is sharing this technology with people, helping them become product users. That's really what we do. And then some people say, you know what, I want to share with others too. And you're like, all right, let's lock arms. Let's go do this. Let's share together. And we stay consistent by inviting people to the Zooms. And that allows us to build a global business. All right. So we are open in 81 countries. I need to figure out what country. I would love a tab in our back office to show what countries are in our downline.
Yes.
My guess is in our downline, we have at least half of those 81, if not maybe 3/4 of those countries represented in my organization. So using Zoom allows us to be belly to belly with people, as we call it, right? So we're connecting individually with people, but allows us to be able to connect with people all over the world as well, too. Okay. So let's get this started with, we have on here, I can see that we have Susan, who's a senior director, and I have Alicia, who is an executive. I can see we've got Jody on here and Stan, who are executive directors as well. I've got Leah, that is an executive, but 2 seconds, like 4 days away from presidential director that is on here as well. And I've got Gloria, that's a senior director on here as well. And I've got Kendra, that's a senior director on here. And I've got Holly on here, that's a senior director. So we have a lot of amazing leadership on here tonight. And I'm excited for you guys to be able to hear, whether you're watching the recording or you're here live, to hear their tip, what they want to share with you guys. So who wants to start? Leah, go girl, go. Let's unmute you. Get you unmuted.
Unmute. Am I unmuted?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Leah here. I guess you guys know we have a baseball game happening pretty soon. So go Astros. The business tip, I thought about this today that just keeps coming back to me. And that is to have zero attachment to people, events, and things, especially where it comes to your family and your inner circle friends. That's what I have learned, because I deal with that. I was with my two sisters this weekend, and they're not patching, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. That I have zero I still love them. We still had a great time together, but I have zero attachment to that aspect of this business. And that goes for a lot of my good friends as well. I know that they will eventually come to me, and I'll still be here. I'll be ready to patch them when they are. So that would be my most valuable tip, I think, because we do get so excited about it, because we know all these people that need it, that are in our life, and they don't want to even be open to it. So that's my tip.
I love that. That is a fantastic tip. Yes. Yep. I totally agree with that 100%. No attachment. There you go. Thank you, girl. All right. Who else wants to share?
I can share something.
Where are you at, Susan?
I'm here. Can you see me?
There you are. Perfect. Yes. Okay.
Hi. Yeah. When it comes to, my tip would just be always be ready to talk about the patches, and incorporate them into natural conversations. And we're only 3 months in, but I've been enjoying sharing and bringing them just to people at Bible study or at the gym, or someone I run into that, I might know from school, and I'll, say something like, how are you and Don doing? Oh, we're doing great. We started working with these stem cell activation patches. And they go, oh, well, I didn't understand this, but by 35, we're down 50% of our stem cell activity. And by the time we're 60, we're down up to 90%. And that's terrible, isn't it? They're like, yeah. And, well, there's this great patch that it looks like this, and I'll, show them the back of my neck or go like this or whatever. And I said, I've got some information. I'll just send it to you. I got a little video so you can learn more, but I'm de-aging. I'm reverse aging. And then I kind of laugh and I said, plus the pain in my arm went away. And Don's sleeping through the night, as our guys get older, they have prostate issues. And I said, so it's really, I don't get tired in the middle of the day anymore. So this is awesome. And they'll go, oh, all right. And then I start to send them over the video. So I just keep it real simple and just always ready to share wherever I go. So that's my little tip. Just always be ready to share the good news.
I love that. I love that. You're like, oh, how are you? How are you guys? We're doing great. Let me just tell you about it. And here's a video. They just have a chance to say no.
Yeah, they don't. Well, most people are like, they kind of scratch their head and we don't know anything about that. I said, well, I didn't either, but wow, this is so cool. Let me send you a short little video. And they're like, okay. And then you go from there. So it just seems very non-threatening, if you just want to share a little video with them and they're okay with it. So
I love that. Thank you, Susan. That's a fantastic tip. Wonderful. Thank you, girl. All right. Who wants to go next?
Next.
All right, Gloria.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to share tenacity. we get excited in the beginning and things might not go the way we think. It might go a little slow, or maybe you're really going fast and you're on this like roller coaster ride. And then you get excited because you went and seen your director, and then you realize everybody else passed you and you're just sitting here wondering what's going on. And sometimes you could feel like you're doing things wrong, but sometimes life just shows up. And maybe it's those people that you did meet somewhere that aren't ready yet, like Leah was saying, but all of a sudden, something happens, and then like there's this influx of people that are signing up, and you get all excited again and you get motivated. So there are different waves of energy that are going to happen in any business that I have learned in 35 years. And you just need to have tenacity to keep getting through that next phase, and don't give up on yourself or the people that you want to help out there.
I love that. Tenacity. Tenacity. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And that also too is with you, especially Gloria, like look at your consistency with the patches and your consistency with sharing, right? And then and now here, poof, here comes another wave. You share your before and after pictures from your consistency with that. Like, I'm not giving up on my health and myself. I can't wait to interview you on Saturday.
Not giving up on anything. Yeah. And like I had other business that I was doing that I had to take care of,
Yeah.
but and watched everybody fly by me, but that's okay. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just hang in there and keep moving forward.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. I love that. Tenacity. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. All right. Who else is ready to share? Holly, go for it, girl.
Okay, this is from my personal experience. Absolutely track your progress, because even myself, I'm like, oh, these patches aren't working anymore. I'm so tired. Well, I went from working 3.5 days to working 5 days and longer days because I want to. I'm good at the end of the day. And I have way more energy, way more ability to do things. My brain is functioning so much better. So it's like, okay, so I just went a little bit into overwork, but being able to track where you're at, because I noticed that even with my clients being an acupuncturist, a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't notice anything. And it's like, okay, well, you're off your medication. You can now walk X amount of miles, you're back hiking, you're doing like all these things again. So sometimes it's just good when you're working with people to make sure you get a baseline, because nobody ever really remembers how, terrible they felt. They just like in the moment, like, oh yeah, I'm going good now. So that is my tip and my thing that I see and I notice from people is that, when they really realize how much progress they've made. Like even today, I had somebody that was like standing in this position with like one leg crossed over the other, and they were having this whole conversation. And when the person first came to me, they were like this, and they couldn't even hold their head up. They had to like lean and hold their head up. It was such a transformation. And I had asked her, oh, well, how's your energy level? And she goes, oh, it's not good. It's just the same. And I'm thinking, that's not what I see. So we just wound up delving into a conversation. So that's my thought on it, is because sometimes people just don't realize the changes that they're having.
That is an excellent tip. That's why we love the health tracker, because you do forget the little things. I was interviewing Jody earlier on my Facebook page live, and she said she just forgot about her abnormal heartbeat. She's like, I've had it forever. And all of a sudden I just thought, oh, Dr. Harmon mentioned his was gone. And she laid down at night and was like, oh yeah, mine's gone too. That's major to have an every fourth beat abnormal heartbeat every single day your entire life. And then poof, it's gone. So that's very good tip, Holly, to keep that progress. And your before and after pictures, girl.
Oh yeah. And you know what? I have no more palpitations, and I don't have that slapping of my heart valve now that you mentioned it. And I just like, I'm just doing all these things, and I'm thinking of going global and teaching. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Thank you. That's an excellent tip. Track your progress and track your customers' progress. Make sure your clients are on that health tracker. So then that way,
Isn't that amazing how something that bothers a person so badly for so long, and then they just suddenly forget that they had it?
Mhm.
Like, think about that. That's
Mhm.
crazy.
That's a blessing from God, is what that is. Because otherwise you'd be haunted by the pain and the problems that you had. And so then when they're gone, it's like you forget they're completely gone. It no longer bothers you at all. You forget you even had it. And so unless they're actually like keeping track of that stuff, or you are, it's like, whoa, how do we really, I mean, they don't think anything's changing or different.
Yeah.
It's crazy sometimes. Yeah. That's why we always are inviting them to the Patching podcast, so we jog in their memories. Hey, tell me what's going on with you. What's happened? What's changed? I'd love to have you on here to interview you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Thank you, Holly. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Alicia.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm in the car. That's normal. So, patch tip that I would say would be focus on X39 and just use the X39, talk about the X39 and patch people with the X39. I really think that we get all up in our heads like, oh, which one should I use for this? Or what should I recommend of this? Or what does this one do? And, just X39. Just start with X39, use X39, track X39, follow up with X39, give away X39. There's like so much power in that patch. And I know for me, it's totally changed my life. And sharing that testimony just from that one product is, unbelievable. And then a business testimony that I would tell is I want you to think right now, how excited and how grateful are you that somebody told you about LifeWave, you personally. Now, if you don't tell somebody else, you're doing them a disservice. So I know that we all get in our heads and, we're women and for those of us that are women, we're told no. And then you're like, oh, they don't like me. No, it's not that they don't like you. It's just, this is new technology. This is something new, and just be proud of what you've got, be loud about your results, and go forward with it, because you're excited that somebody told you, and somebody is going to be excited that you tell them. So that's all I got.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, keep it simple, keep it basic. And we do talk about a lot of patches, and people ask a lot of questions. They want those results as fast as possible, but we know that we always lead with the X39. That's where we start for everything. And then you add from there based on what's going on with you. And of course, like David says, we call it the dynamic duo with the Eon. You got to reduce the inflammation in the body. Otherwise, it's going to take you a lot longer to get there. So that's really important. So thank you, Alicia, for sharing that. I appreciate it, girl. Definitely. Keep it simple. All right. Who wants to go next? Who's going next?
I'll go.
Okay, go, girl.
So I think one thing that really sticks out, two little things, and they kind of flow into each other, you guys, is practicing 3-3-1 every single day. And I know that sounds redundant. You probably just rolled your eyes because I said 3-3-1, right? But you can do 3-3-1 so quickly in your day. And whether you're a 3-3-1 person or a 30-30-10 or what, it doesn't matter. There's no judgment. Everybody is who they are. Know that just takes a short period of time. But leading into that, it's that 3-3-1 that brings people on board. And with this being a business Zoom, you guys, when we bring somebody on board, if you set the intention of the momentum that you want to have in your business, you have to get that in the get-go with them. Let them know that they can very well go manager in anywhere from 2 days to the first week that they come in, because you're going to spend that amount of time with them. We can't bring people on board and start pointing them directions and tagging them in all these places, because they become a deer in headlights. But if we are able to spend quality time with them and take them to that first destination as quickly as we can, then what we've done to them is shown them what this company is about, that they can bring that extra income in their house to change maybe some things that are going on, that they have the support that they need, And that fires people up to know that they have help, extra income, and support. And they're going to set that same intention as you go down the line. And so that's what creates the momentum in our business. If we bring somebody on board and just think that they're going to just catch on and get it, especially if they've never been in the industry before, that is so unfair for us to do that to them. It's okay if you spend 3 hours with that person to get them manager. It really is okay, because you've already done your 3-3-1 or your 30-30-10 or whoever you are, right? Because you're organized. But set the intention, because when you set the intention with the people who want to lock arms with you, that is the exact same intention that they will set, because this industry is all about duplication. And it's about duplicating in a large mass of people, simple steps. And this company's got all of that. So get quiet a little bit, ask yourself what you want in your business and grow into it. I'm not saying you're going to come on board right now and set the intention, but that's why you have all of us seniors and above. I'll sit on the phone with somebody 3 hours to get a manager in 2 days in a heartbeat.
Laura, I need you to explain what 3-3-1 is, because
okay, yeah,
that are
absolutely.
brand new or not really for sure. So that is a fantastic tip, because it is how we have 100% every day for the last year and a half done 3-3-1, and most times 30-30-10, because we know 3-3-1 takes 5 minutes. But we've done that consistently every day, and that's why we are where we are. And so, and why we have the teams in place that we do, because we can easily teach people how to duplicate that. So what is that?
So 3-3-1 is a very simple system. And what it is, you guys, is the first 3 in that, what's the word I want? Equation would be to touch 3 new people a day. Whether that's, hey, I know how much you're into health and wellness. Will you please check this out? I'd really love to get your opinion on it. That's a touch point. Whether you say, oh my God, girl, I got something for you, drop me your address. And then that's a touch point.
Or like Susan earlier with wearing the patch to the church or the kids' school line and stuff like that. That's a touch point.
That's a touch point. So you're just making 3 touch points to people who've never heard about this before, whether they see what you have on, you actually send them something, or you just get in a new conversation with them. And here it goes. What do you do? Well, you all know what happens when somebody asks you, what do you do? I know a lot of you have a hard time with that question. This is what I say. Oh, I work for a great biotech company. That's all I say. I don't say what we do. Why? Because I want them to ask me, well, what do they have? Oh, well, we have brand new stem cell technology. Stem cells. So you guys get it. So we're just creating a conversation. It's a touch point. The second 3 is to follow up with people that you've already touched in some form or fashion. They have samples on the way. You're checking in. Have your patches arrived yet? No, not yet. Oh, girl, I am so excited for you. Call me the minute they get there so I can show you how to put them on. Or, what's another one that I do all the time? I kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone, but I'm not going to go there yet. I
was going to say, Laura, what I like to do is if I watched a podcast,
that's what I was going to say.
And I like to send them the recording and say, hey, this made me think of you.
Because you've already touched them and you know what they've got going on. Like I talked to a girl before we jumped on here and she says, I have a client that has MS. And I said, I've got the perfect testimony I want to send you. That was a follow-up with her. So you just want to touch them in some form or fashion, whether checking on to see if they've received their patches, something that you read or listened to that made you think of them. Anything that you can open the door to follow up with them. And then 1 is inviting somebody to the Patching Podcast that we have Monday through Thursday nights at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have one on Fridays at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time. So we can get our people over the pond a time where they can invite people to these Patching Podcasts. And you guys, whether you're new or whether you've been in a while, what these Patching Podcasts do is they provide third-party verification. How many times have you talked to somebody and say, Well, they're not going to listen to me. They're not going to just listen to me talk to them about this. Well, they don't have to, because you have a place to invite them that you're going to be on there with them. Okay, don't invite them and not show up. That's not cool. I'm just going to call it real there. But invite them and give them the opportunity to not hear it just from you. Let them hear other people's experiences, and let them hear somebody else explain the science and technology, because we all know you could put 3 people in front of Stacy, let's say, and she would explain it, and every one of those people heard something different. So when they hear it from somebody else, they get a third-party verification. So that 3-3-1 system will create such a large funnel, if you will, for your business. But those of you who have been in for a while and you feel like you're not, I've run out of people to talk to. If I could be honest, it's because you didn't do 3-3-1, at least 3-3-1 every single day. Your funnel ran out, right? And every time you send something to somebody to follow up, you've opened the door to follow up again. And so it just works so beautifully. But when you do that, after you do that, that's when you start converting people into using the product. That's what converts people into wanting to lock arms with you and share this product with you. So they kind of jive with each other because they're very simple. But I don't want you guys to feel like you cannot spend time with your new people because you have to sign in new people. Create your funnel with the 3-3-1 and spend time with your people. Dig in with them. And you'll find out really quickly the A team versus the B team versus the C team, right? And so, I don't know, set the intention for your business, set the momentum, and we're all here to help you do that, especially if you're just getting started, you know? So that's my tip, Stace.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. And thank you for explaining what 3-3-1 is. It
Yeah.
literally does take 5 minutes. If you're going to send 3 messages and 3 follow-ups and invite one to a podcast, it really does. We've done it a million times, literally a million times. And so it does, real simple. You can literally just send a quick voice message, or you can just copy and paste a message. It doesn't take long at all, right? Pull up a podcast real quick from our Be Activating community, throw that into, hey, I thought of you, wanted to share this one with you. It just takes literally a few minutes to send some messages and invite somebody to a podcast. So, and that's why we joke around and we say 30-30-10. I've said 30-30-10 from day one.
Yeah.
Because 30-30-10 may take you maybe an hour. So you think about, am I going to work an hour a day? I think I can work an hour a day. We all have an hour a day, right? And so it's really not time consuming to reach out to people. Now you get into conversations with them, they ask questions. I think it's important that you're prepared, and you want to be prepared with the right information to send to them. Start X39 Now is our website that we send, and we send Start X39 now instead of startx39.com, because Start X39 Now has been updated. We have multiple languages, and we also have things very organized and specific, like video number 4 is for practitioners and doctors. So if you can say, hey, go to startx39now.com, click on video number 4, just scroll down to that one, boom, you're going to get right to the doctor practitioner one. And so everything's being uploaded and updated. So we have current relevant material on there as well. So that's why we use startx39now.com. So you always send that website to someone that wants more information. They fire you back. Okay, great. Let me send you a couple PDFs. Right? Do you want me to email them or send them here in Messenger? I fired out probably literally 25 PDFs today in email form alone, not to mention on Messenger to people as well too. So people want those PDFs of the health tracker and the patch summary sheet. They want to be able to look at something and see it and read. And so they like watching videos and they like reading. So those are the tools you need to have available. Those tools do the talking for you. It's not your job to go into this science and technology and all the depths and how this work. And if someone's like, I need to speak to someone that can explain it to me. Well, hey, let me give you this PDF if you want to know the really nitty gritty, right? It's the 52-page PDF that David created, the story of LifeWave. Let me send you that one. And if you want to talk to somebody, let's get on this Zoom, right? Or let's set up a 3-way Zoom or a 3-way call, and we'll get you those answers that you need after you've read the material and watched the videos from David.
You know what, Stacy, I'm so glad that you said that, because y'all you don't have to know anything about anything, honestly, because we have all the tools that will speak for you.
Mhm.
The coolest thing about what we get to do here is less is more. We're not David. Don't want to be. You know, we don't.
I wish I was. Yes, I do. I
Well,
wish
I don't mean it that way.
way.
No, I don't, you know, I don't mean it that way.
I
I'm
know,
just
I'm
saying,
joking.
as far as knowing things, don't feel like you have to be this bundle of information before you can message somebody about this, because Alicia is the perfect girl on here that will attest to the conversation. I don't know much, but
Yeah.
this is what I've heard. I think you need this. Like, y'all, that's all I said to her. I
Mhm.
didn't know. I won't say it like I usually say it, but I just didn't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
I just knew she needed it. So my question to you tonight, when we hang up, make a list of the people who you think they need this, and then touch them, love on them a little bit.
Share. All right. Thank you, Laura. All right.
You're
So we have Kendra, we have Jody, we have Stan. Who else have I not heard from yet? Who wants to go next?
I can go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it, girl.
All right. My computer wasn't sure. So I'm glad I wrote like 6 things down, because like 4 of them are already gone. I would say that sort of kind of following on to what Laura said, kind of 2 things. One, when they're prospects, get a patch on their body. Like, put the patch on the body. I mean, ask permission first, right? But I found that when you give out envelopes or whatever, people let them sit around for a while. And when I follow up, did you use those yet? I get a lot of, no, I haven't put them on yet. And just like folks are saying on here, well, let's get on a Zoom. Let me show you how to put them on. You know, people are sort of resistant to it. But if you're meeting them belly to belly, put that patch on them, because then it takes all of the unknown out of it for them. I mean, just take it off before you, like an hour before you go to bed. So that's probably the biggest thing. And then the second biggest thing for me is, and it's kind of in line with that, is, you know, the products work and people sign up, but it's not one and done. Just because they're signed up, you cannot forget about them. Case in point, I had signups from an event several, months ago, and did Stacy's recommended, touch them again, leave them alone. A couple months later, touch them again. And I had 3 people that had been using the patches for a couple months that hadn't responded to one text message I had sent in the beginning, but they showed up on her Zoom last night. So you don't forget about the people that have already signed up, because your volume is obviously based on repeat customers. And yes, you start them off on using X39 and hopefully Eon, but then you can, once they're comfortable with that, they start naturally asking questions about the other patches, and you have an opportunity to touch them there and talk about how they can incorporate some of the other patches into their routine, if you're comfortable with that, or, depending on, get your upline to ask, or again, lots of videos or whatever. But just don't forget about those people that have already signed up. It's not just about the prospects either.
Yeah, I love that. That is so important. I do the 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. And then from there, it just depends on what Zoom's coming up. If there's something big, or if I want to, wait till maybe, a couple months, 3 months later. I kind of like do quarterly sometimes with people. It just depends on how big their package is and, our relationship and stuff. But that 2 days is really important. 2 weeks, I need to check in with you. You've been patching for a week or so now. How are things going? I want to make sure you knew about this Zoom coming up. You can learn a little bit more. And then, a couple, maybe even they're probably going to reach back out to you a lot of times after that first month, right? That's when you upgrade them from silver to gold if they came in as silver. But if not, by that second month, because sometimes think about this, if people come in with a silver pack, which we always recommend, minimum is 2 months of X39, minimum 2 months of Eon, right? 2 X39, 2 Eon, silver packs done. Well, after that 2-month mark, you want to get a hold of them, right? Before that runs out. So then, hey, let's go ahead and, how are things going? Let's keep you going. Or did you want to add something else? So that follow-up is key. I'll be honest with you guys. I've shared this a million times. I have never talked to one person about this business. Join me, join my team. Let's build a business. I am very good at following up with people and seeing how they're doing, how things are going, and inviting them to those Zooms. And then what do? They want to do what I'm doing, which is help other people. They come to me and say, prime example, Kendra, I met her back in May at the Bruce Lipton event in West Palm Beach. And she signed up on the spot, boom, bought a silver kit. And of course, immediately texts come, right? Put her in a text, make sure she, what questions you have. Oh, you want to Zoom? Okay, great. Let's get on a Zoom. Here, let me invite you to some things, sending her some information by Zoom. Didn't like blow her up, like drive her crazy, but yet wanted her to know that I'm here for her and to help her and support her, right? And so that happened over the course of months. And obviously now here she is, rocking and rolling, senior, almost on her way to executive director. And it came from follow-up, right? Staying in touch with people and not being, like a nagging Nelly, but being, hey, I want to let you know this is, happening, or I want to let you know that I'm here to help in any way. So that's an excellent tip, because sometimes I think people get scared of follow up because you're like, I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know if they've used it. I don't know how to respond. Your best bet is just to do it, just to send the message and say, hey, like Laura said, did you get your patches yet? Have you put it on yet? Oh, you haven't? Let's get it on you right now. Get on the phone, get on the Zoom. Let's FaceTime, whatever we need to do. I don't know you. You're a complete stranger, but get it on your body instantly. Great tips, Kendra. Fantastic. Thank you, girl. All right, Jody, Dr. Stan, who's going next?
I can go next.
All right, let me get you on here. For some reason, I double clicked on something there. We'll put Dr. Stan and Jody.
All right.
Let's hear your tips.
My tip is, when I thought about this today, was, something that everybody does eventually when they get in this industry, is they try to start figuring out why some people do this and why some don't. And I was taught by a man many, many years ago, we were talking about 40 plus years ago. He always said, some will, some won't, so what? And the industry has always been that way. And, Jim Rome, who was a great teacher, used to teach the parable of the sower, in relationship to this. And it always resonated with me, because everybody gets excited. You sign someone up, and then the next thing you know, they disappear. They don't answer your text. It's like the FBI can't find them. The CIA can't find them. They start ghosting you, and it's because somebody may have come along, those little birds come along and say, that's network marketing. That doesn't work. Oh, that's so-and-so. I've heard that. I went to the bathroom walls of the internet, and you don't want to have anything to do with this company. They're, blah, 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 blah. And then we have a tendency to people try to chase after those people, why you wanted to do this? Why aren't you doing it? And it's like, once you start chasing those birds, you take yourself out of the field, because the parable of the sower is a person who out there is sowing the seeds. And yes, some of them are going to get taken up by the birds, by people coming along and, stealing that dream out of their heart. And then there's going to be some, that get in it. And then when things get tough and things get hard, the heat gets a little hot and they give up and they go on. And again, you don't need to figure out why they do this or why they don't. It's just the way it is. So many people, Dr. Stacy, want to figure out why, this person, and they concentrate on one person or two people, thinking, well, I've just sponsored the two people that are going to make me rich. It don't work that way. Our job is to sow and stay active sowing, doing the 3-3-1 activity, so forth and so on. And it's just interesting that people get caught up in life, they get distracted, things just happen. And it's no use you trying to figure out, well, you need to get your life straightened out. If you would just do this and if you would just do that. No, what you need to do is quit trying to figure out why some will, some won't. It's your job to just keep sowing, because eventually we're going to reap. It's the law of averages. In the Major League Baseball, if you can hit 1 out of 10 balls, you're going to be making millions of dollars. If you can do 1 out of 3, you can be making multiple millions of dollars. So it's like Babe Ruth. who was the greatest, baseball player up until recent days, he had more strikeouts than home runs, but he was considered the home run king, but he also could have been considered the strikeout king all at the same time. But what I love about this business, this industry, about anything that we're doing, Dr. Stacy, if we just keep doing what we're supposed to do, and that's sowing, we're going to reap eventually. And when those come in, some are going to come in at 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. Laura talked about this. There's going to be some people that want to just do gangbusters. They want to rise to the top of the company. They want to make a 7-figure income. Hooray, I'll take 7 of those. But there's going to be some people that are just going to come in that just want to make that car payment, the house payment, some residual income to subsidize what they're doing already. So to me, this business is not about, trying to figure out, who will and who won't. It's just our business to sow and wait for those to come into fruition. They're going to go, they're going to come, they're going to go, and quit trying to figure out why they do or why they don't. It's just our job to sow. And eventually, if we are not weary in sowing, we don't get weary, we will eventually reap the harvest and be blessed for our efforts. So my tip is quit trying to figure it out. And you're going to have, brand partners saying, well, the company this could be doing this better. Why aren't they doing this? And why aren't they doing that? And why don't we have this and that? And you get distracted with those things, because there's no company, Dr. Stacy, that's perfect. There's going to be challenges in anything that we do. But one thing I'm sure of is that this company, and I've got, over 40 years experience in this, which is the last tip, is submit your ego. Even if myself, I humble myself. I try when I talk to Dr. Stacy or another leader, I don't want to share with them what I know. I want to know what they know, how they can help me. When they ask me, how can you help me? Like I asked you, Dr. Stacy, what would you recommend? How would you, because I want that outside, person telling me, here's what you need to be doing, and trust someone above you. Because I've always said for years and years and years, it's just like if you want to go to the top of this company, you got to listen to the people who are at the top of the company. Don't listen to all the other people who are moaning, groaning, bitching, and complaining about this and that and whatnot. So to me, it's just if you do the basics, submit your ego to the system, the sky's the limit. So I'll quit preaching. I could get going on this one.
That's the tenacity Gloria was talking about earlier. I love it. Thank you, Dr. Stan. Like she just comes in and goes, true, Dr. Stan. I love it. Thank you.
All right,
so
Dr.
much.
Jody might have something.
Jody,
no,
girl.
I'll just piggyback on the end of that. I was laughing during the whole thing, thinking about difference in personalities, because the Reds are like, hey, 1, 2, 3, strike, you're out. And I'm over here, my tip was going to be keep dripping, because I can't tell you how many people I've brought in after 6 months of follow-up, not like every day or every week, but just continually checking in, especially if they got family stuff going on and stuff like that. But then there at the end, when Stan was talking about submitting your ego, kind of going along with that, I've been thinking another tip that I had, was to plug in. I mean, a lot of people get on the podcast all the time, and they get on these and they get on Dr. Stacy's Tuesday night thing, but they're not really plugged in to their upline and to their team. And, you need to reach upline. If you're not growing like you want to, you need to reach upline and submit your ego, like Stan was saying, and let somebody help you. And that's just something I see because, gosh, we've got 275 people on our team, and I don't have that many people reaching out to me, but you should be reaching out to me, reaching out to Laura, reaching out to Susan, Cindy, Casey, Dr. Stan, Alicia. I reach out to Alicia, Laura, and Stacy a lot, and just, reach upline and get some help, get some encouragement. It's normal to get discouraged sometimes. But, plugging in to the things that we have available is good, but get on a personal basis with somebody that can help you. Because I know some of you guys are enrolling, but you're not reaching upline to figure some things out, like why am I not getting builders, or why am I not, already director, that kind of thing. So that'd be my tip, is to plug into your upline, get a personal relationship going, and it'll help your business tremendously.
Thank you, Jody. That's an excellent tip. April signed me up and I signed up as a customer. She signed up as a customer. And when I went to that event, when I took Laura with me a year and a half ago, we went as, I went as a customer. I didn't even know it was a direct sell company at all. I had no clue, didn't care. I just wanted the technology after the videos that I had watched. And when I left that meeting and Laura and I left, she's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm doing it. What are you doing? She's like, I'm doing it. If you're doing it, we're doing it. Okay, we're doing it. What are we doing? We don't know. So let me see what's going on. And I messaged April and I said, hey, what do you know about this business? What's the average monthly income disclosure statement? I can't talk about a business model unless I understand the compensation plan and what's going on. She goes, girl, I don't know. What are you doing? Are you going to do this? I go, yes, I'm doing this. I'm upgrading to diamond. I was a platinum. And she goes, oh my God, I'm gold. I got to do that too. If you're going to do this, I'm doing this. And I was like, I'm doing it. She's like, I said, so give me somebody that knows about the business. And she goes, well, I don't know. We only talked to Wendy and Kathleen about the product. I said, well, give me their numbers. So I got their numbers. We got in a three-way chat and they're like, we don't know anything about the money. We don't understand the business. I'm like, oh my God, you guys have been doing this for over a year. Give me somebody else. And they're like, Marcy. And I'm like, okay, great. And they go to startx39biz.com. So I went to startx39biz.com, clicked on compensation plan tab, printed off the sheets, manager, director, senior director, watched the 15-minute video, got on the phone with Marcy, set up a Zoom. I was at Laura's condo the next day. Boom, we Zoomed 1 hour later. We're diamond, we're done. Boom, I'm manager for I even got home 2 hours later. She's manager the next morning. Why? Because we went up. We're like, we need answers. Let's go. But we followed that chain of command, right? We needed answers. We went right to, April 1st, and then we went above and above and above and above until we found somebody that could help us answer the questions we needed. Kathleen and Wendy knew everything about the product. They had done fantastic with me on the phone, doing a three-way call, talking all about the technology, exactly what I needed for me and Taylor and Trey and Brent. So we had to form that relationship on a product, but I needed more business compensation plan answers that day one, right? And they didn't have them. So they said, go up, talk to Marcy. So I love that tip because we are all here as a team working together. And if you want to talk to April, you can talk to April. You want to talk to above her is Wendy, and then there's Kathleen, and then there's Sean and Mariah, who are up in Alaska. Those are some incredible dog sledding women. I mean, they're amazing healers and energy workers. And then obviously there's Marcy. So, if you need to go up, go up. But I think that's really important to stay connected too, because you just don't know who you're going to resonate with or learn best from. We all have different personalities. Like you mentioned earlier, that red, go, cut them, leave them, whatever, So we all do have different personalities in how we work with people. And so you got to find what works for you and connect with whoever. It doesn't matter. There's no hard feelings, right? If you don't connect with me and you're like, I can't work with her, she's crazy, I need to go talk to Laura. Okay, great. Go talk to Laura. Go talk to Laura, whoever you need to work with. Let's just all connect, right? In some way, shape, or form. So thank you for those tips. That was fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Stan and Jody. All right, you guys. So we have about 12 minutes left. I am going to open it up for Q&A. So if you have questions, you can either unmute yourself or type it in the chat. Anything to do with business. Remember last night was product. So anything to do with business, I'm happy to answer. And I'm sure any of these leaders are happy to answer as well too. Just fire away.
I have a question. A question. Good evening. What system do you use for follow-up? That seems to be where I get lost in terms of getting people on a schedule to follow up. I've made like a lot of those first touches, and but it seems like I'm not consistent with the timing of follow-up. So is there a particular system that you use? I had everything on an Excel spreadsheet, but that doesn't seem to be working too good for me.
Yeah, I'm not an Excel spreadsheet person either. I'm a pen and paper person. And so everybody's name and contact information goes in my notebooks, plural, in my notebook. I have lots of them by now. But I like the 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. And depending on obviously your relationship with them, you may be following up with them sooner, of course, you know, with what's happening with the interaction. But for example, we did an event last week, and I told, you know, Ron, I said, okay, he goes, when do I follow up with him? I said, the event's on Wednesday. I said, Friday, you're either going to call them or email them, whatever information they put here. You're going to reach out to them to set up a time to chat with them. 2 days. Okay, great. Fantastic. What now? Well, we do have a Zoom coming up. So go ahead and invite them to the Zoom that's coming up. And then you can follow up with them after that. This is new, you know, people. And I said, then, you know, after that, you can send them your email, but you want to give them a minute, right? Just give them a break. Let them have a week or two. You don't have to like blow their phones up all the time. We don't want to be that crazy pushy person. I want you to know I'm here. I'm happy to offer information, but I don't have, you know, that go, right? To blow people's phones up. And so I think for me personally, I don't have what I would call a system other than that. 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, and then it's quarterly, and I have my notebooks. And so I will sit down, like for example, a Zoom. Last Saturday, we did the doctor's Zoom. So I sat down Friday for about an hour, and I sat down on Saturday morning as well too. And I just went through and sent private messages to people and personally invited them to that Zoom. Hey, I want to let you know about this coming up. Here's the link. Here's the information, right? And so, if you guys have other tips, you can definitely share, because, you know, for me, it's a notebook, pen and paper, and very much intuition. And when I feel it to send messages to invite people or to check back with people, that's just by flipping through my notebooks and keeping that on my desk and present in my mind whenever I feel it. I'm real big on the feeling, because it's an energetic exchange with me. And so people know that's just how I roll. That's how things happen, because of that energetic exchange. It feels the right time, and they can feel that as well too. And so it's more receptive, I guess I would say.
And how, just a little bit more on that, Stacy, how do you keep the 2 day, 2 week, 2 month people organized?
Yeah, that's what my
You
question
sit
is.
down tomorrow and it's time to follow up with your 2 week people. What notebook do you grab?
So for example, this week, okay, here's my list for this week. These people, and these people are all from this week. Okay. So from today is Wednesday. So these are from Monday and Tuesday. So these are Monday, Tuesday, and today, people that I've reached out to that have responded back and have watched videos and looked at PDFs. Okay. So this has all happened, right? Monday, Tuesday. So tomorrow is Thursday. They're all getting an invite to the Zoom I'm doing tomorrow night, interviewing Nancy and Mark and Crystal. So that's 2 days. Now I can go back in this notebook, same notebook. I can go back up here, because this is my most recent notebook. I go through a lot of them, and I can go back up here and I can start looking at the people that I've contacted before. I'm trying to find a page, but I can't find a page. But I can start contacting these people from earlier and share with them, hey, the same thing, the Zoom tomorrow night. This is 2 weeks. These people have been within the last 2 weeks. You can date them, whichever works best for you. But I don't date mine. I just know that this is my most recent notebook. My other notebooks over there on my desk or my chair, because it's right here. This one, same thing, right? This is my notebook that I've used before that. So these people are going to be more like 2 months out. These are my last 2 months people. Okay, all of these. So this is my last couple weeks. This is my last couple months. Now I want to go back to quarterly. I'm going to go over there in the credenza and grab a notebook, the other 5 that are in that credenza over there, right? That'll go back quarterly for me. I can go back for the last year and a half. So that's just what I do. That's just me personally. They're here, and I know who they are and how recent they are, because I write them down. And I find that even if they haven't signed up yet, right? They're just a potential or a prospect. When I go back to follow up, I check, because there's power to the pen, putting their name on paper. It's an energetic exchange. They'll eventually decide they want to be a part of what you're doing and share this, use this technology themselves. Not necessarily share the business, but use this technology.
Okay,
So
thanks.
Kendra uses Excel, Rhonda uses index cards. So those are, I know I've seen Jody have index cards as well.
I do. I had a hard time keeping up with that. And those index cards to me were more for my customers.
Mhm.
And with what we have in our back office, looking under our personally enrolled, now I just go to that once a week. I go to that and go down through the list of my personally enrolled and who have I not talked to lately, or who doesn't have an auto ship that I should reach out to and see how they're doing, suggest another patch. So I'm not using the index card for my customers anymore, but I do a combination of what you're talking about, Stacy, with the notebook and also the notes in my phone, because sometimes when I'm talking to people, I don't have my notebook in front of me. And so I just immediately go and put them in my notes in my phone, because if I don't, by the time I get home, I might get busy and forget about that person and drop the ball. And I still drop the ball some, but the combination of the two helps me a lot.
Okay. So in your back office, if back office is when you go to your website, lifewave.com, whatever it is, click log in. When you log in, that's your back office. That's the back side of our business. It's the back side of your website where we run all of our business. If you click on organization and then you click on personally enrolled team, you can see the people that you have personally enrolled. Now, if you're newer and you have like 1 or 2 people there, right? 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6, that's not going to be as helpful as someone like Jody that's been involved for the last 11 months now and has enrolled a lot of people. So for you, obviously, and Jody as well too, keeping your people in a notebook, you write them down. If you've talked to somebody, Susan goes to the car line or to church and she's talking to people, she's going to jot their names down. Right? She sent them videos, but if you send them videos, you know how fast we can get 10, 20, 30 text messages or as many, if not more, Facebook messages. You're going to forget about those people. And so you want to jot their name down on a piece of paper so that keeps them in front of your mind, right? So definitely, yeah, Laura, absolutely. Keep them on paper, written down, or like Kendra does in Excel. If you're in Excel, absolutely. Or yeah, like Andy says, she texts herself notes to put in her notebook later. Fantastic. I do the same thing if I'm driving, or I'm not driving, but if Brent's driving, or I'm driving and pull over and I need to sign somebody up, I'll just type their information real quick in my note section, but then I come back home and transfer that information to my notebook. So then that way I have that so I don't forget about them and I make sure that they're getting the proper information and invites. So I love that. Yeah. Follow up is very important, following back up with people, but we all have different organizational styles. And I've said this before too, I'm the chaotically organized person. So stuff's exactly where I know that it is, but it may not be a system that works for you. So hopefully as an adult, you would have some way that you're already organizing yourself that works best for you to keep you on track. But definitely keep them in a notebook or on an Excel. So, and yes, we do have the InTouch app. Absolutely. The app, thank you, Steph, keeps track of your people. You can enter their name, their phone number, and their email. And you can send them videos through your app. And obviously it holds all your prospects for you as well too, if you are into that. I happen to run through people on Facebook Messenger a lot. And so that's a primary source of where I reach out and contact people. And so I don't always take the time to go into my app, I'll be honest with you, and send videos that way, just because I'm copy and pasting that startx39now.com or even that 3-minute what is phototherapy video, about LifeWave. I'm copy and pasting that stuff very quickly. So definitely, find what works for you. But thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you to our senior directors and above for sharing all of your tips and your success tools and strategies. I appreciate every single one of them. They were fantastic. I do have a Zoom now, so I'm going to hop out here, and then Art, I'll be hopping right back in. I know you just came in, so just hang on one second, but I will share this recording as well once I'm done with that next Zoom. So thank you all. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you soon.